When things go wrong as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk. I'm your host Khalil Amunet, and of course these days it's Ramadan, so an important thing for Muslims to remember in Ramadan is their health. To give us some tips about how to maintain our health and to have good habits during Ramadan is Brother Adil Zaqayzak. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
And also joining us is our in-studio audience. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you guys are having a good day. So I'd like to begin with a question. This is kind of a lot of non-Muslims and people not familiar with fasting think it's the same as starvation. So what is the difference between starvation and fasting?
Okay. Actually, starvation is mainly related to conditions where humans do not find food. So they do not make any efforts to be in such situation. With fasting, actually, the person himself select to fast, seeking the blessing of Allah. So actually, when they fast, they make the decision to do that, and it is not just skipping meals. It is obeying the God through not getting anything through the mouth, and also to keep the tongue from not saying gossip or and also from any intercourses or such. So it is a package of practices that is good for the body and also energize the soul. So it's two things, the body and the soul. So this is the main thing. The difference.
But also Muslims are fasting to sort of give the feeling that they're starving, to experience what the people who are not voluntarily fasting, who don't have any food. So they're sort of experiencing what those poor people experience.
Actually, through these months, Muslim feel what is deprivation. There are a lot of people in this world who do not see or find the food necessary to their bodies or their kids and such. And it is a very good practice of Muslims to go through that feeling, to feel the same way and see how those people are suffering. So it is very good to appreciate the blessing and the gift that we got from God in this life.
So are there any health benefits to fasting? We don't have any food. Does it bring about any health benefits?
Yeah, it's full of benefits actually. I do believe that the stomach and the entire body, it's very good to make something like what is happening in factories when they make maintenance. So actually, it's a time where the organs and the stomach get break for renovation. The stomach is always working, and the body organs are always working. So they need sometimes to get rest. The body itself needs sometimes to get rid of toxins. So it is very good to have that time a month each year. I'd like to tell you that in our houses, after we get meals, we will see the dishes or the plates full of the residues of our food, And sometimes the people who clean these dishes have some difficulties to get them clean.
Yeah.
Imagine your stomach, no one clean it.
It's never empty, so it won't clean. Okay.
Yes. So it is very good to have that time for the stomach to get rest.
Are there any bad habits that some Muslims may have that are negative during fasting,
Okay.
that contradict the benefits of fasting?
Okay. Before getting into this, to answer these questions, I would like to emphasize on the fact that fasting is very good for diabetes, for obesity, for hypertension. These diseases, all the people that suffer from these diseases, their health in general is getting much better in that month.
But if you're fasting, if an obese person is fasting, and he breaks his fast with a huge feast, and he is eating, he's just making up for what he didn't eat. Is that necessarily a good way to spend Ramadan or spend fasting?
Actually, there is.
Is there still a health benefit?
Yes. Actually, there are a lot of people who think that fasting is not good for diabetes, and of course, we obey what Muslim doctor says.
Yeah.
And Muslim doctors nowadays say that it is good for diabetes. And if we will have any chance where we can meet or talk to anyone who would have diabetes that started to fast, we will see how good that
yeah, inshallah, in the second segment we'll talk with one of our audience members, Haytham, who has diabetes.
Great.
But that's in the second segment.
Inshallah. Great. We will see that from someone who
personally goes
exactly. The other thing that I would like to say here is sometimes to get the complete benefits of fasting is not to make anything that contradict with that. For example, the sleep. There is a lot of people who do not sleep well in Ramadan, and when they do that, they feel that they are not feeling good. They feel dizzy. They are not concentrating well, and they blame fasting.
But it's actually the sleep.
Yeah, but it's actually the sleep. Actually, when you sleep, actually you give your nervous system and all organs it's time to
have a break.
To have a break,
yeah.
And to energize them to come back again to be active. In addition to that, actually, the stomach specifically, there are specific types of protein that gonna multiplicate for like 340 times during the sleeping time. If we do not have enough sleep, we are not going to have this protein to work well and to protect our stomach and stomach tissues and such. And by the way, the minimum level of this protein is between noon time and asr time. So actually, in all cases, not enough sleep is gonna be bad, because as we fast, we need to be sure that we give our body the enough amount of sleep needed to come back active during work hours and such.
Okay, so what are some tips you can give to the person who's not sleeping well? How can he sleep well, or what can he do to break that habit?
First, people should stop the habit to stay up until dawn time where they get their suhoor. No.
Sleep and wake up.
Exactly. And then sleep back again 2 or 3 hours. Then you will be able to collect or gather like 7 hours.
Also, caffeine is a huge.
Of course, if you
I think people should cut down on caffeine during.
Actually, if you talk about drinks, actually there is a lot of drinks. Some of them are good, some of them are bad.
We can talk about that during the second segment because we don't have enough time. So stay with us and welcome back during the break.
All the prophets are brothers, and they represent the same message. What was the call of the prophet? What was his invitation? He was inviting to what? So the prophet said, "Oh Allah, grant your mercy on the one who is tolerant if he sails, on one who is tolerant if he buys, and one who is tolerant when he seeks his rights." Try to discipline them in the best way. Those daughters will be his shield. That means those will be the reason, the cause of his protection from hellfire. Because of what? Taking care of them. What you have in this life, no matter what you have, is less. And it is temporary.
The entire staff at Huda would like to wish you a wonderful and blessed Ramadan.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Idris Tawfiq, and we were talking about in the last segment, where we left off, about drinks, especially caffeine drinks. A lot of people around the world have this addiction to it. But it's not very good in Ramadan because it affects sleep. And what are some good drinks? And what are some drinks to avoid during fasting?
Okay. There are a very good, well-known drinks that we should start to get our bodies and ourselves get used to them. Among those drinks, actually, I can suggest tamarandi, I can suggest carob, I can suggest hibiscus. All of them are natural drinks. These natural drinks are very good for the body. In addition, I should emphasize on the milk. Milk is a complete food. It has everything. It just has a shortage of iron. But this can be it can be a complete food if we add some dates.
Some meat or date has iron in it?
Yes, date. So actually when we start our breakfast with milk, with dates, this is a great thing that can provide the body with the energy needed to make up the fasting time. Of course, the soda is not good. Is not good, and actually it makes your body feel thirsty after drinking it. So it is just a crush feeling while you are drinking it, but it is not good.
And is that because of the sugar also? And I've noticed here, in the Middle East, they put a lot of sugar in everything. So you have some hibiscus, but it has this much sugar in it,
Yes.
And it kind of tastes like syrup almost.
Yes.
So we should avoid also, I think,
exactly.
excessive sugar.
Exactly. Actually, sugar is among white poisons.
The white poison. Yeah.
Yes, it's sugar. Like salt. It's salt. So it is not good. We should go to the natural drinks, and be sure that the sugar we're gonna add is very minimal. Yes. To keep our health. Sugar is not good. Sugar is not good. But we need to get the sugar from the fruits.
Yes,
from the natural food. The fruits itself is very good source for fruits. And caffeine actually is not good because they gonna make the person stay up, and gonna be some pressure on the nerves and hypertension and such. So it's very difficult for people to stop it entirely. But if they cannot, at least they should keep it minimal. For example, 1 small cup of coffee, or 2 times of small glasses of tea. We need to keep it minimal, or to make a control on this caffeinated drinks,
So in small quantities, it's okay. So if you break your
Exactly.
fast and you have a meal, then you can after you can drink a cup of coffee or
Exactly. Actually, there are some research that talk about the good effects of tea, for example, for the nervous system and memory and such. Tea is good.
and
But-
antioxidants. It also has
Exactly, and antioxidant, exactly. So it is recommended to have it with a small amount.
Yes.
But to keep up with a lot of it and to make it concentrated or to be like a dark tea is not good for health.
So lighter teas. Okay.
Lighter teas with minimal sugar.
Yes. Okay. I think we have. We're going to go to an audience member who is a diabetic, and we want to see how he deals with fasting and being a diabetic also. Do you have a story for us, Haytham?
Yeah. First
Go
of
ahead,
all, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I've had an incident that I would like to share with you all. When I first had the diabetes, when I recognized or when I knew that I'm a diabetic person, I had a recommendation from the doctors not to fast. Okay, so it was very hard on me that I used to fast maybe for 16 years or something. And afterwards, the doctors told me not to fast. So it was very hard on me not to fast. Then I decided to fast, and I neglected what was the doctors
doctor's
say.
advice.
Yeah, exactly, because of the thawab, you know. Then it happened for something like 2 or 3 consequent years that I went to the ICU, the intensive care unit. In the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan, I couldn't really control my blood sugar, so it went very high and I had hypoglycemia. Then once upon a time, I went to one of the sheikhs in the Taraweeh prayer. I asked him, when I'm losing this thawab of fasting in Ramadan, am I losing as well the thawab of fasting in other days rather than Ramadan? For example, each Monday and Thursdays. He said, first of all, why you're not fasting in Ramadan? You should control your blood sugar. You should tolerate with your food, and your blood sugar will be okay. Then you can fast. I said to myself, why is he so sure about these things? There must be something. Then I said, I will do it. And I've controlled my blood sugar. I didn't eat that much. As we heard, I controlled my sleeping time, things. I didn't exhaust myself during the day, these kind of things. Then I asked Allah, of course, to help me in the fasting, and it went all fine. Afterwards, I knew that sheikh was a diabetic person as well.
So perhaps you, overall, you increased some good habits for the whole year, not just Ramadan, then, controlling your blood sugar.
Exactly.
So you don't take any insulin or anything for your
No,
diabetes?
I'm taking insulin, but it's...
So when do you take that during Ramadan? Do you take it...
on suhoor time,
Okay.
and on breaking the fast. Actually, the insulin itself, the insulin shot is not one of the things that make you
break your fast. Oh, so
Exactly.
you can, if you're not feeling well
If
and you need
it's
to take
so
some
high,
insulin,
yeah, you can
it's
take
not
it.
breaking your fast.
Exactly,
Okay.
no problems.
Okay, thank you very much, Haytham. Do you have anything to add to what he said?
Actually, this is a very good source of the information.
Yes.
Because even when people hear the facts or the information from physicians, they do not believe in it, rather like when they hear it from a
sheikh
patient who went
or-
through the same experience.
Yes.
This is a psychological thing, but we will go back again where, as it is very well known that stomach is the home of illness. So if we control the stomach in a good way, I'm very sure that we are talking about diabetes, we are talking about hypertension, too many things, they will go better. They will go better, definitely. And sometimes if we analyze the factors that cause such these diseases, you will see that it is very well related to the stomach. For example, hypertension. If you look at what is the main causes that can
Cure
yes,
hypertension.
Yeah, you will see a lot of people actually they have cigarettes.
Yes,
They will have
problem.
wine,
Sugar, excessive sugar, excessive caffeine, no exercise.
Low exercise,
Yeah.
all these things. So in Ramadan, actually, you do not get
Perfect
any
time.
of these things to your stomach. In addition, while you are praying the 5 times in addition to Taraweeh, you are making exercise.
How is Taraweeh exercise?
Actually, it's any prayer for itself is exercise, and there are some people who make some research on the health of the back, for example, for Muslim. You will see the results coming soon, or that shows that the back health is better in Muslim because they are praying.
Yes.
So you are doing this on regular basis 5 times a day. And if you add the Taraweeh, where you had like 20 of this
yes.
each day, so you are making exercise. So actually you control your food in Ramadan. You are making exercise in addition to the high level of morals. Because actually in Ramadan, it is not just a mechanical thing, because you empty your stomach while you are filling your morals,
and your
your
spiritual,
spirits.
yes.
You energize your spirits. So when you get these two things together, this is, I believe, take you to the best condition where you have good health for your soul and your
for
body.
your body. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we want to see if the audience has any questions. So go ahead.
My question for you, doctor, is I was wondering if you have advice for someone during Ramadan who wants to maintain a balanced weight, because there are some people, they tend to lose a lot of weight going to school and basically just being very active, and they lose a lot of weight. And for some people it's the opposite. They tend to overeat and basically gain a lot of weight. So I was wondering if you know about any foods or like habits that are good to just maintain a balanced weight during the month.
Okay. Actually, each body or each person is different. So let us talk about good general habits that can keep the person not from being able to gain more weight on his body or lose extreme weight. It is very good that actually when we eat, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have like 3 parts in our stomach: one for food, one for drinks, and one for our breath. It is not good to exaggerate in eating. This is a very bad habit. It is also good time in Ramadan to avoid fried food. Fried food actually make the stomach loosen. Okay, and also it is not good.
But why is that? Why is it? Because of the oil, excessive oil?
Yeah. Actually, the oil it is very well known right now that the oil is not good.
Especially the oil when it gets heated up so much.
Exactly. But in general, it has fat, and when the body receives a lot of fat, it's not good for health. It is there is, now we hear a lot of people get cholesterol.
Yes.
And a lot of coronary diseases, the heart diseases. So it is when we go away or to control your fat limits, it's very good for you. So we need to control or limit our fats. We should not start with cold water. Some people start with very cold water. This is gonna make the stomach loosen the stomach. So it is very well recommended to start with milk with dates. Okay, and also people can start also with some soup, because the soup will energize the stomach to start to secrete juices required for digestion and such. And after this, you should go to Maghrib, pray.
But also water is very important to clear the bowels, to release. It also releases toxins.
Yes, very much. I'm talking about avoiding to have very cold water.
Yeah.
Not
so
to,
just keep it.
Yes. Moderate, yes. Liquids in general, very good for body tissues, very good for digestion, and all kind of all aspects of the health of the body in general. It is actually, water is food.
Yes.
Water is considered as a food. So we should actually avoid the fried food. We should avoid spicy foods. We should avoid soda. We should get the food with small meals. We should not get big meals that gonna make a pressure on our stomach after the fasting. So it is very good to start with that. And in between, sorry, you want to say something?
You're talking about having only small meals. So after we break our fast, people eat a small meal, then they go pray. Should they eat afterwards? Eat another meal? How should you divide up the
Actually,
meals?
I'm talking about drinks, just drinks, and then go to pray, and then get the meal. Not to have a small drink and pray and then the meal. No, just start with drinks, okay,
and then,
to stimulate your stomach and enzymes and such. And go to pray and then start your meal. This is good. And in suhoor, actually, some people do not eat suhoor. This is very bad. This is reduce their ability to be in good health in general. And this is going to make the body rely just on one meal. This is not good at all. So it's very good to delay your suhoor until just the dawn time. And with suhoor, you should have light meal. You should not have a lot of sugary foods like baklava or such carbohydrates. No, this is make you feel thirsty during the day. You should get something that lasts longer in your stomach, like lentils, like beans. It's very good with bread. It is good also to have the yogurt with that. Yogurt is very good for as a good bacteria that against a lot of bad bacteria inside the stomach. So in general, it's good natural drinks that we have spoke about before. Also to be away from fried food. Also it's good to have small meals. Good to have the breakfast and suhoor. And people who are not gonna take their suhoor, they gonna have their blood pressure gonna increase, and they might actually have low concentration, and their mood in general is not gonna be good. So I believe this is a general recommendations for people to obey this recommendation. Gonna be good for them.
And of course, you need concentration because you're supposed to be during Ramadan reading the Quran and doing a lot of prayers.
Exactly.
And making dua and all that.
Exactly. And let me tell you this: while you are fasting, the hunger enzyme gonna make a better nervous connections to the brain, which is improve the transmission of or messages going to the brain, which is improve the thinking and such. So during Ramadan, this is energize your memory, and it is the opposite. Some people think that while they are fasting, they cannot think well. No. It is the problem of not sleeping well.
Not sleeping well.
Yes.
So try and sleep like 8 hours a day at least.
Yes.
I think every day.
Yes. Sleep well, eat well, and you will have a very good fasting.
Very good Ramadan.
For your body and soul and concentration.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this segment. Don't go away.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose whom He wills subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy, for His messengership, for the revelation to be revealed. This is not for the human beings to make that decision. If a person would turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, truthfully, asking for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to forgive. We have as Muslims a duty, and that is to recite the book of Allah, to ponder over the verses, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to act according to the Quran. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encompasses everything, but who would this mercy will be for? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to all mankind. So the ummah or the people of the Prophet ﷺ, or all mankind since the time of the Prophet ﷺ till the day of judgment. Why waste our life without getting to know every verse in the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us?
The entire staff at Huda would like to wish you a wonderful and blessed Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. We're talking about health in Ramadan. Of course, we have Dr. Adil with us. And we have a new guest, Usama Al-Shami. He's presenting a show on Huda TV called Together to Paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome. In Islam, is health considered an important thing? Is it something that it's encouraged for a Muslim to look out for his health in Islam?
Yeah. See, there's a big misconception amongst Muslims that Islam doesn't really focus on the body. It only focuses on the soul. But if we really study Islam correctly, we'll find that the body is such an integral part of being a good Muslim. Okay? And the way to really see that is to understand that our bodies don't belong to us.
Yes.
You know, they are a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once we realize that my body and your body is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will go back to Him after a certain number of years. It could be 20 years, could be 30 years, could be 50, 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. But eventually our bodies will go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once we realize that, we'll realize that taking care of our bodies and also, of course, our psychological health is a huge part of Islam. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says in a hadith that no one is giving anything better after having certainty in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and belief than health. This is how important health is in Islam.
So that's why, during Ramadan, we should also, not ignore doctor's advice and other things. Such as we heard with your story, you had to go to the emergency unit, so we should follow doctor's advice, maybe.
Yeah, during Ramadan and other times of the year as well.
Other times. Okay.
I'd like to say something here, actually. The all hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and practices is a very good example and model for us to obey and follow. So, which means that Islam is focusing on the body health as well as the soul and the psychological aspects of Muslims too.
Yeah. See, Islam mainly focuses on preventive care. We have a lot of doctors today who are treating diseases. Okay?
Yes.
But Islam came with the idea of preventive care. And before I go into how Islam applies preventive care, I just want to tell you something. For the past few years, insurance companies in the United States have been looking for ways, of course, to make more profit and reduce their costs. Okay, so they found that the number one way to do that is to introduce and reinforce the idea of preventive care. So instead of waiting until you get a disease,
you should
get regular medical checkups.
Well, and also look after your diet, your exercise, and that type. How does Islam encourage that?
Okay. Islam encourages that on many aspects. Okay, I'll take just a few. Let's take a look at nutrition. Okay, for example, the prevention of alcohol, disallowing and preventing eating of pork, dead animals. All of these things,
the munkarat, or things that cause harm to yourself,
cause harms to our body, and even not having marital relations with one's wife, during a certain period of the month. All of these things, help us come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time take care of our bodies so we can live a long and happy life. That's from one aspect. For example, take the sexual, health. Not allowing fornication, not allowing adultery, lessens the rate of STDs.
STDs, also unwanted pregnancies.
Exactly. Teen pregnancy, which is a very big issue in Western countries, and all this research, on how we can prevent and lessen teen pregnancy. It's a very simple thing,
Yes,
in Islam.
Yes, exactly. And actually, making or causing any harms for the body is prohibited.
So
It is
mutilation
in the Quran. In the Quran,
yes.
it's prohibited. So if, for example, people talking about smoking, smoking is not halal, is prohibited based on the rules.
A lot of people say it's not prohibited because it's not explicitly said so in the Quran, but it's prohibited because it causes harm to your body.
Exactly.
See, and it all goes back to the idea of that your body doesn't belong to you. Okay, because someone can just say, okay, I'm free to do whatever I want. This is my body, you know, and I can do with it whatever. It doesn't. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once we realize this idea that our bodies belong to Allah, then we know that, you know, the best one to regulate them is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, you know, there's an added dimension to that, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. So He knows what's best for us. I want to add another aspect, you know, about preventive care. We talked about nutrition, you know, for our bodies. We talked about sexual health, obviously STDs, you know, HIV, teen pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies, all of these, you know, ills of society.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and obviously something like teen pregnancy, you know, it's not just something, you know, that affects your body short term. No,
It affects long term because
Exactly.
your child doesn't have anyone
Exactly.
to care for, you know, a person who has.
You have all these single mothers, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, these single mothers in some countries are not able to provide for their children. So, you know, you have malnutrition problems. You know, they're not able to afford health care. So, you know, if your child has a disease or something like that, you're not able to treat them, and the process carries on. But there's another aspect that we don't think about too much when it comes to Islam, which is the psychological aspect. Okay, if you as a Muslim have this idea inside of you of tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Yes.
of dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your life will become much, much easier. Okay, you're talking about lack of sleep, insomnia, it will be reduced. Depression will be reduced. All of these psychological problems that we have, if we apply Islamic concepts into them, if we understand that our rizq is already written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to work hard for it, but at the end of the day not worry too much about it.
Yeah, because
then-
worry really causes a lot of stress on the
Exactly.
body. I mean,
Exactly. Stress, number one factor leading to hypertension.
Yeah.
Stress.
and heart disease, and
Yes.
and also psychological problems. Stress is a huge part.
Exactly. Actually, the right Muslim, he will feel satisfied with all surroundings. Of course, we should make our best for risk to have a better life for ourselves and our children and such. But we are satisfied with all results.
We have to be content with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
Exactly.
gives us, and that
Exactly.
reflects on the health of your body.
So, I mean, give us some tips on how to become more spiritually aware and you know, to lessen these health negatives.
Okay. I think as a person watching this program, you need to do three things. Okay. First of all, you need to understand that health is a part of Islam. You know, if you are a practicing Muslim, if you're a good Muslim, then you should understand that taking care of your health is one of these ways of being a good Muslim. Okay, that we need to change our mindset. That's the first thing. Second thing is exercise. You know, most of us, after we reach a certain age, maybe 20 or even before that, we just totally, absolutely stop exercise. And that is the biggest harm that we're doing to our bodies.
And when you read in the Sunnah, they were always, you know, training and doing
Exactly.
exercise all the time. You know.
Yeah.
And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked or encouraged people to teach their kids swimming and riding horses.
Yes.
So this is just example of sports that we are really need to make our kids start to practice sports as young as possible, because it's very good for their body and souls.
I believe that specific reference that you're making is by Umar ibn Khattab, but you know, in general, the Prophet ﷺ did encourage us, you know, to take care of our bodies, because you serve yourself better, you serve your family better, you serve Islam better when you take care of your body and your soul.
Yeah, and also, of course, exercise. It has a huge effect on your mind also.
Sure.
the more you exercise, the more the blood goes to your brain, and you lessen your hypertension also.
Sure. And a lot of substances is actually going to be secreted, which make your morals with the highest level you can imagine. You feel better after doing exercise. Why? Because such substances came as a result of your body doing such exercises. So it's not just the health of organs or the body. It's also your morals, your psychological aspects.
Because you're breathing more, also you're taking in more oxygen.
Yes, it reduces depression.
Yeah.
So it's in all aspects, it's very good for body and soul.
Usama, do you have any more tips to add to your fellow Muslims?
Yeah, we said the first thing is to change our mindset.
Yeah.
Okay? We need to understand that health is an integral part of being a good Muslim. Okay, second thing we said we need to emphasize on is exercise. And the third thing is to get medical checkups regularly. Okay, that includes going to the dentist, which a lot of
people don't like in general, not just Muslims.
A lot of Muslims that I've seen, whether in the East or the West, they don't go to the dentist. I don't know what the reason is.
Well, the cost of a dentist is so high in the West, especially. I mean, a checkup can cost a few $100s. Also, insurance is a big problem. But anyway, yeah.
I agree with you, but at the same time, if you leave your teeth, to a condition, it's going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of pain. So, go for regular medical checkups. And today, many insurance companies, they provide you with a free medical checkup once a year. So take advantage of that and understand that if any disease is caught early, you have a much, much better chance of treating it and, inshallah, curing it as well, by the will of Allah, if you catch it early.
So, like after a meal, making wudu is very important, because you're putting water in your mouth. A lot of things get caught in there, and you're spitting it out. So that's a very good health benefit also.
Yeah, hygiene in Islam is really amazing, because we're talking about a person that cleanses himself or herself 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, imagine how great that is. On the way to the studio, I was coming, and right when I came here, I'm washing my face, and I had just washed it right before I left the house, and all this dirt was coming out of it, just from the road and traffic.
Yeah, here's sand. I mean, pollution so much that you don't even know what's on your face.
Exactly. So imagine if you're washing it 5 times a day, there's much more of a chance that you'll be able to keep good health. And same thing, for example, even after having relations with one's wife. Making ghusl keeps, prevents a lot of diseases.
Actually, nowadays, after a lot of threat that came from H1N1, this is the most important thing is wash your hand with soap. Wow.
Yeah, like that's such
this
very
is
simple thing.
For Muslim is not a new thing at all.
Yeah.
We used to clean up, to make wudu 5 times a day. And so the cleaning up is a habit thing for Muslims. So actually, we do believe that this recommendation is not for us, because we already know it and obey it and do it long time ago. So I do believe that our regular wudu 5 times a day by itself is a very good prevention control or approach that keep a lot of diseases away from Muslims.
There have been some studies where evidence that when you're cleaning your ears, such as you do in the wudu, that you're relieving pressure from the head. So that's also a good point. And in the Middle Ages, while the Muslims were taking baths and cleaning regularly, actually the Europeans thought it was a negative thing. They actually thought you could catch diseases very easily while bathing. So that's an important thing, to think about. Islam stressed this from a very long time ago. Well, do you have anything else?
No, actually, it's each day a lot of research findings reach a lot of things that shows that and prove how our Islamic practices is very good for human being even before the time where people have disciplines and research and such. But these still good things to show that all our practices is based on scientific logic that is good for human being in general.
Yeah, and then of course back then they didn't know, they didn't test the stuff, but it was, it was from Allah, so.
Exactly. If you ask the person, he knows that this is good for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know why, but it's good. And this is actually part of the faith.
Also, one of the things, cleaning your teeth, miswak was used in the time of the Prophet. Very, very important thing, very important tool. So that's all the time we have. Please join us in the fourth segment. We'll take more questions from the audience. Please don't go away.
Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. So is it logical to say all plastic surgeries are lawful in Islam to bring or to regain beauty? It is very misleading questions. Need a very accurate and firm answers. Let us set up the rules and principles to cover all plastic surgeries in Islamic law. How Islam does legalize niqab or veil factor in our modern life? Is it fair to suggest that it is more cultural than it is Islamic? I would rather to answer these questions by just suggesting very shocking fact about niqab. Are you ready for that? How Islam does legalize polygamy, when Islam always says that respect natural instinct and natural feelings, and knowing that not a single woman does accept anyone to share her in her kingdom. All what you have said is true. But is there any difference between your natural instinct and your natural desires? Or maybe between your interest or what you wish to have? Or maybe your interest and other interest? Is it true that anything came after the Prophet ﷺ regarding this deen to be considered as a bid'ah, innovation? It's neither this nor that. It seems very well complicated and confusing to many Muslims, especially when it comes to the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, وَكُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ, and Sayyidina Umar saying, نِعْمَةُ الْبِدْعَةُ هَذِهِ. Let us set up the very comprehensive definition of bid'ah according to Islamic law.
The entire staff at Huda would like to wish you a wonderful and blessed Ramadan.
Welcome back. In the last segment, we were just talking about how Islam encourages good health. We have a lot of, the Prophet had a lot of good health practices and habits in the Sunnah, such as using the miswak, bathing regularly. So we're going to go right now to the audience to see if they have any questions. I think Ahmed has a question. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I want to ask about sweets in Ramadan. Here in Egypt, especially in Egypt, we love sweets. We have lots of sorts of sweets. We eat a lot of a large amount of sweets. Does it affect negatively on our health or something? I think.
Okay, it's actually the best recommendation for getting sweets is get the sweets of fruits, fructose. It's a natural sweet that would never, in normal limits, would never be harmful for the body. But making such food like baklava or any of those things, especially in Ramadan, is not good because it increases blood pressure. It make you feel thirsty, especially during fasting hours. So it is not good. It's better to replace them with natural things, natural drinks, fruits. It is not also good for people that will make people more susceptible to have obesity or to gain additional weights in Ramadan. So in all cases, actually, I believe Ramadan is a good month where we should pay our attention to get rid of bad habits and bad eating habits, and among those, these
definitely
sugar,
sweets.
yes,
Yeah.
sweets.
What about nuts, like almonds, peanuts?
Actually,
how are those good for your health?
These are very good. Nuts are very good. They are rich in fat content. They are
And good fat, not the
good fat.
Yeah,
It's natural. It's
Natural,
very
yeah.
good. It's good for the memory. It's good for tissues. It has a lot of good fat. It has protein. So nuts actually is a very good thing. And actually, it also good for during the examinations and tests for the students. So I really recommend people to have nuts.
But avoid the ones that are very salty. Like there's some that are just coated in salt.
Actually, we are the one who put salt on it.
Yeah,
It's in nature. Naturally, it's not salty.
Yeah.
We put salt, so we make things not good for us.
Yeah.
We should not
And
do
it already
that.
tastes good also.
We should reduce the amount of salts we are having. And actually, it's not just the salt that we put on our feed. It's all preserved food, because it has sodium and all canned foods. So there is a lot of salts that our body takes while we are not paying attention to it. So we should not put salt on the nuts. And if we put that, it should be minimal.
I've also noticed that when you're putting a lot of sugar, you get so used to it. But if you just cut back, it'll taste just as good. The taste doesn't change. It's just that we're so used to eating all the salt and sugar when we don't really need to.
Exactly. Actually, you start to mix or to follow a specific practice.
Yeah.
And then you became addicted to it.
Yes, addiction.
So it's addiction.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you decided to stop specific habit, you will do it. I know there is some people who smoke, and when Ramadan comes, they stop smoking.
And they quit almost,
Yeah.
When they've been smoking a few packs a day or smoking a couple cigarettes every hour, and then they quit for 8 hours sometimes,
Yeah, although this is nicotine is in the blood. This is a very good example that when the person need to stop specific habit, he will do it.
And when he has the incentive also.
Exactly.
And that's what importance for Muslims is spiritual incentive. They feel the spiritual incentive, but they don't think about the health, the health incentive. Why is that?
Okay, actually, we should have the same incentive, because when we see one of our family members has specific problems and go each once in a while to the doctor, or actually on regular basis to the doctors, and pay a lot of money for the medicine, or go to the hospital, and health is gonna be deteriorating. This is gonna be a good incentive for us to keep the gift
that Allah has given us,
that God gave us, which is the health. We should have a good incentive, try to keep our health always good.
And that's where the preventative care that Osama was talking about comes in.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you maintain your health, you're not going to have to spend all this money,
Exactly.
In the end,
See, and the main incentive is, as we said in the beginning, to make that connection. Okay, being a good Muslim and having a healthy body and mind, these come hand in hand.
Yes, because you can worship easier, you can fast, you can.
Your incentive should be that if you're not taking care of your body, you're getting bad deeds.
Yeah.
And if you are taking care of your body, then you're getting good deeds.
Yes.
That's simply put.
Exactly. And actually, being a good Muslim is not just by praying. We should also follow all health practices that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was doing. And it is not a good example at all for other people to see someone is praying and he is doing bad or obeying or following bad healthy practices. No.
Actually, this might sound a little funny, but taking care of your health while living, in the West is a really good dawah tool.
Yes.
Okay, because if they see the brother, in the beard, and the sister in the hijab, and they're like 300 pounds
Well,
for no reason.
But sometimes people have, some genetic things that we have to take into, or some hormone problems. But,
I mean, here's the thing. As a basic rule, okay, people are fat or obese because of calorie intake.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, there are some exceptions.
Yeah.
But that's the basic thing.
And they should also think that they're going to inherit this to their children, that they're going to have. If they have a fat problem, it's inherited.
Exactly. Actually, it's genetics is, yes, it is there with some people. But of course, the impact is going to be, or the influence come from genetics and the environment and nutrition and practices. For example, if someone went to have fast food and carries the fast food with Diet Coke or Diet Soda, whatever the type is. So what are you doing? What kind of behavior you are doing? So actually, it is going to be funny, as Osama just said. So actually, we need to follow good health practices, as well as obeying
the commandments of Allah, following the way.
And we should not succumb to the idea of genetics. Okay, you can take control of your own weight if you put effort into it. If in certain cases you need surgery or you need certain things like that, then you should consult with a doctor. But as a general idea, you shouldn't just say, I'm just fat, or on the opposite end, I'm just overweight. No, you should, work hard to take care of your own body and take care of your own health. And going back to the idea, it is good da'wah. When people see a healthy person, that reflects on who they are and what they believe in.
That's all the time we have. We've been having a very interesting discussion about health and how you should look after it during this time of Ramadan and carry on these good habits after Ramadan, to eat right, don't eat too much, and avoid all the wrong foods. I'd like to thank Osama. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'd like to thank Dr. Adil Zaqaisaq. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'd like to also thank the audience. Thank you guys very much for having us. I hope you weren't too bored. And that's all the time we have. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the